What's going on, everyone? My name is Scorpion, and welcome back to Battle Hub Draft League Season 1, Week 2 this time. And this week, my team, the L.E.A.F Agents, are taking on Brandon P., head coach of the Piedmont Triad Kickers. Now, I'm not going to be having an as elaborate team-building thought process this time, but I will still be walking you guys through the matchup, what it looks like for this week, and also the team that you're going to be seeing in action in the battle, which is also included later in this video. For those who want to skip straight to the battle, there should be a timestamp in the description down below. Feel free to skip ahead if you want to, but this is just a quick team building thought process for those who are interested in it. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So as you can see, there's my unchanged team on the left and Brandon's team on the right, and he's got some very powerful threats. He's got the Chi-Yu. We all know how powerful Chi-Yu is. Absolute huge threat on his team right there. He's got Lander Asterion, Volcanion, Scizor, Toxapex, Screamtail, Zapdos, Mousehold, Scovillain, and Indeedee. Obviously got to watch out for the Scizor, Mousehold, and Scovillain as they are his Terra captains. And but yeah, I'm very excited to see how this battle goes. Looks like a powerful Manual Sun team, and this will be the team I'm bringing to the battle myself this week. We've got some new threats right here. We've got the Choice Scarf Great Tusk, the Substitute Nasty Plot Hydreigon set. Obviously, last week we ran Choice Specs. This is a bit of a different set this time. We're running Mixed Defensive Roll and Wash with EVs to take on Mousehold with the Rocky Helmet to take that Population Bomb, as well as enough Special Defense to take Pokemon like Volcanion's attacks. We've got the Occaberry King Gambit as a late game sweeper against the many fire types that can break through the team. Brick Break in case Screamtail decides to set up some screens, which is powerful. We've got the Dash Bun off the bench for the first time this week because of the many fire types. I reckon that Well-Baked Body and the Wish support is going to be very nice. Very excited to see how that goes. And last but not least, we are bringing Terra Water Iron Leaves this week with Psyblade, Wild Charge, and Terra Blast Water, for the many fire types on the team, as well as Wild Charge for the Volcanion. So let's see how this goes. Good luck, Brandon, and good luck to everyone for the rest of the league. Please leave a like if you enjoy, and let's get straight into the battle. Alright, and welcome everyone to the battle of Battle Hub Draft League Season 1, Week 2. I'm going to be taking on Brandon P. This week, head coach of the Piedmont Triad Kickers. As you can see, we've got the team here that you may have seen in the team preview. And yeah, Brandon's here, so let's get straight into the battle. Let's see what he's brought. And as we can see, he's got the Screamtail, Lander Asterion, Mousehold, Volcanion, Scizor, and Chi-Yu. So very powerful stuff. A lot of stuff that we prepared for, so I'm very happy to see that he's brought those Pokemon. And hopefully the team we prepared is going to be putting in some work. So again, this is a live or a post commentary, sorry, so I'm not going to be giving you guys my live thought process, but I'm going to try and replicate it as best as I can. I might try and do a live commentary for the future soon, but for now we're doing it this way, because honestly I still kind of struggle battling and talking at the same time, so we're going to be doing it like this for now. So looking at his team, honestly I'm expecting either a Screamtail or Landers lead, potentially even Mousehold. So try and get the Rotom in there straight away to try and maybe get the KO as he goes for a Population Bomb, or to just get a safe Volt Switch out into whatever we want, really. It's a good idea. I'm just double checking my set here. It is actually the right set. And yeah, so I'm just thinking to get that a nice powerful Volt Switch off. I think Terra Water, Iron Leaves, and Scarf Great Tusk are going to be very key here as well to try and win the game. So let's go. Good luck and have fun, Brandon, as always. I mean, this battle's already happened, but you know, it is what it is. And he actually ends up leading with Mousehold, which is literally perfect. So I'm thinking this is exactly the sort of lead method that I was hoping for. Because obviously I have the Rocky Helmet to deal with Mousehold's population. I've tested it, I'm EV to be able to lift this thing, and I'm going to be able to OHKO it with the Rocky Helmet thanks to the population. So my thought process here, you know what, he's going to die anyway, I might as well get up the Rain Dance to try and prevent the firepower from happening. He's actually got Bullet Seed instead, so I ended up getting outplayed right from the get-go. Very well done by Brandon putting that on there to deal with the contact moves there, or to deal with the Rocky Helmet, sorry. So my first turn, I already make a massive misplay. She's definitely gone for a Volt Switch or a Will-O-Wisp there. Yeah, so the manual rain goes up, which is actually not even, that was made to counter Manual Sun, so that's honestly not even going to help me that much, considering There's no way in 5 turns we'll be able to get value out of the Terra Water Iron Leaf. So I'm thinking already, this thing is a problem. This Mousehold is like, that was my way to deal with it, and Brandon just completely bypassed that. So I'm currently just quickly calculating to see which mons of my team actually live a max attack population bomb. If he's Jolly, Great Tusk can just hang on, but if he's Adamant, which he could be, considering Mousehold's great speed tier against my team, King Gambit is the only one that can live. So I'm really thinking that's going to be my only way of dealing with this. Now, I do kind of regret not being defiant on this King Gambit set. I actually was originally, that was my idea, but I thought King Gambit against this team would have been better as a late game sweeper. That's kind of why I have the Supreme Overlord instead. Obviously, that's usually the ability choice of King Gambit, but I thought Defiant might have been good this week. But yeah, so I go into King Gambit, the one and only thing that can live a Bullet Seed or a Population Bomb here. And yeah, at this point I'm basically just hoping that this thing doesn't have a fighting type move, which it usually doesn't, but it could have it because Household does get low sweep, I believe. But luckily that doesn't hit as hard because obviously Mousehold's attack set is only like 75, so it's not that strong, luckily. Now here I'm going to make the double swap into the run because I'm fully expecting the King Gambit to come in. Not King Gambit, sorry, Lander Syrian, and he does actually end up switching into that. Now, if this thing has Earthquake, obviously I'm not going to die to it. If it has any other moves like U-turn, I can go for that, or I can survive that, sorry. And there isn't really a whole lot that Landers can do to me. Maybe it's set up Stealth Rock, but I've got my Rotom in against another mon that I obviously prepared it for. We are physically defensive, so we should be able to lift most hits. And his team doesn't exactly pack a Hydro Pump switch in, so I'm thinking let's just go for that immediate Hydro Pump. Obviously Volcano can have the Water Absorb, but at the same time I could also Volt Switch. But he actually takes me out with the Stone Edge, so I'm not entirely sure what that was for. But it obviously does allow Landers to actually KO Rotom Wash, so that's unfortunate. So I'm already immediately getting my ass kicked, which is a little bit unfortunate. Now, I should also point out this battle was happening at 1 AM at midnight for me, because of our difference in time zones, so I was not exactly playing optimally this week. But luckily my preparation when I was actually sharp helped me out here. So I was actually expecting a hard switch, thinking maybe he was choice or something. I wasn't expecting him to stay in there, so I try and go for the substitute, try and get a free sub up. But unfortunately he revealed that he's not choice locked and he just goes to the U-turn, which breaks my sub. So that is a little bit unfortunate. He now gets to switch to whatever he wants. However, Hydreigon actually does pretty alright against this team, so I'm not in a horrible position. And I will also be getting that level of recovery, obviously. So yeah, I really just need to start actually doing some damage to this team. I've not actually done any damage to this team whatsoever. I've set up the rain, which is, again, not really done a whole lot. Bullet Seed on the mouse was actually impeccable, man. Like, really well prepped by Brendan on his part, for sure. But he actually brings in the Mousehold again. Now, this mon, again, is just such a massive bet. Now, the rain's going to stop, which is not going to be that big of a deal. Now, this Hydreigon, especially after the damage I just did to myself with Substitute, cannot live Population Bomb. However, I do resist the fire attacks and water attacks coming from Volcanion and other mons like Chiyu. I resist their stab, so I'm really thinking I need to keep Hydreigon around, so I'm mostly just like doing calcs at the moment to see what I can live. I'm also considering potentially going for a Dark Pulse, just trying to attack. However, I don't actually outspeed this thing, so I'm really just going to have to hope for a miss if I do that. And I'm trying to see what I actually went for. I think I make the double switch into King Gambit again, but again, this is a post-commentary. Yeah, okay, I do switch back into King Gambit. So, in comes King Gambit, and I'm trying to see what this Mousehold goes for. I believe it goes for a Population Bomb here. No, it goes for a Play Rough. Okay, yeah, he's switched up Play Rough to hit the Hydreigon super effective. Now, again, I don't think that actually mattered too much. I'm pretty sure Population Bomb kills me there anyways. That was a bit of an interesting choice. But it actually hits King Gambit neutrally as well, so it's a pretty good switch. Now, again, this is really where I wished I had fired. I got there eventually, because I would have been able to get the +1 attack boost instead, but unfortunately I'm not. So I'm going to go for the Counter Leaf, but it's still boosted by 1 Supreme Overlord, and I get some okay chip on the Landorus. However, I am now once again in a pretty tough position. I'm going to go with my Great Tusk. Now, Landorus luckily does not actually get any moves that really hurts Great Tusk. Except for maybe a Grass Knot, which will be pretty insane if he had it. He just goes for Safe Earthquake, that's fair. Seems to be rather invested in attack as well, that did quite a lot. However, Lander is obviously expecting that they can actually outspeed me and go for a Safe Earthquake. However, that's where the Choice Craft comes in. Choice Craft Great Tusk, ladies and gentlemen. claims its first KO. I was really expecting Great Tusk to come in handy this week against all those fire types and Lando, and we managed to catch it off guard there with the Ice Spinner, which is amazing. Now Brandon knows that I am Choice Scarf, so he gets a free switch into whatever he wants here. However, getting that KO is definitely going to be huge for King Gambit and stuff, so I'm very, very happy I got the knockout there. Now in comes the Screamtail, and this Mon is a problem because this thing's support capabilities are insane, and he knows I'm locked into Ice Spinner, so I'm going to have to switch, and I go back into my King Gambit. Now Screamtail can't really touch King Gambit, luckily, but what he can do is set up the screens, which is exactly why I have the Brick Break on my King Gambit to actually get rid of those immediately. And at that point, you know, all Screamtail can really do to me at that point is just paralyze me. So it's a pretty safe play, and he does actually end up going for the fight. It is a dual screens variant, like I thought. I was also thinking he could potentially be like a manual Sunsetter, but he doesn't have that many Sun Abusers on the team. So I go for the Brick Break immediately to try and get rid of that Reflect. Because most of my hitters, obviously Iron Leaf and Great Tusk, are physical, so I want to get rid of that, as well as obviously looking at myself. Now Volcanion comes in, and we go for the Brick Break, smashes the Reflect, actually does some okay damage as well, and gets rid of the thing. Now immediately hard switch into Hydreigon, pretty easy play. Hydreigon easily resists all the stabs of Volcanion. I don't think this thing gets a fairy move to actually hit Hydreigon with it, not his Terra Captain either. And I've actually got Earth Power on this Hydreigon as well to do, like I said, in the team prep. So he actually ends up going for a Scald, which is interesting. Doesn't do much damage, doesn't get the burn either, unfortunately. It is nice to see Scald, obviously. I mean, I'm not personally a big fan of the move, but at least Volcanion gets it this gen, which is pretty cool. So now I'm thinking, does this Volcanion actually have a move to hit me with? I do have the leftover, so I can safely sub up pretty well here. Because I don't think this thing can touch me all too well. So I go for the Earth Power instead to try and get some damage on the same thing. That was a while ago, so I'm not entirely remembering what I did. But he does actually have Slug Bomb, which doesn't poison me, luckily, but does do a lot of damage to my Hydreigon there, which is unfortunate. So I'm able to go for a Dark Pulse now. I do outspeed this thing, luckily, so I'm able to go for the Dark Pulse and just get some damage on whatever comes in if he wants to, try and preserve it, or just simply take it out, as it is very strong against his team. He's basically got like no dark resists. The only mon that resists dark on his team is the Chi-Yu, which does not appreciate an Earth Power, obviously. So he actually ends up preserving the Volcanion there, which is interesting, and he goes back into the Screamtail. Now I don't know what this thing's set is. I'm assuming it's max HP, but I don't know if it's got some defensive investment. But that looks to be rather bulky. So Screamtail is in, obviously it threatens me with a Dazzling Gleam, so I have to basically run away. If it sets up screen, I also can't really do much. And some of my mounts are actually threatened and weakened a little bit, so I'm thinking, let's go into my Cleric, let's go into the Dash Button, let's have a little Fairy Showdown over here. And Dash Button should be able to eat any Dazzling Gleams that this thing might go for, which he does. And I'm able to eat that pretty well and also get my own leftover recovery going, which is nice. Now Dash Button really is just my Cleric for this team, obviously also walls the Chi-Yu. Which is nice. So I'm able to go for a Wish, and I'm going to try and actually get my King Gambit healed up, because I know that this thing is going to be a very crucial Pokemon in trying to win this battle. I was thinking here anyway. So he goes back into the Volcanion to try and Slug Bomb my Dash Button, what I'm assuming, and I get the Wish off. Now here I'm thinking, okay, I've got well-baked body, you can't really touch me with a fire move. And I see you've got Scald. I don't know why you would use Scald over Steam Eruption. So I'm thinking, let's go back into King Gambit, see if we can absorb the Sludge Bomb, or maybe take a, what's it called? A Scald, to try and get our health back up, because that would be a pretty ideal scenario. I am max HP on this Dash Button, so I'm going to get a lot of HP back on my old King Gambit over here. However, unfortunately, Brandon also reveals he has Steam Eruption, and what I'm assuming is Specs Volcano takes out my King Gambit, so the Wish unfortunately goes completely to waste there, and the King Gambit goes down, which is unfortunate. Didn't even get to use the Occa Berry there. So yeah, and the Wish also goes to waste, like I said. So that's not ideal, but at least I can bring Hydreigon back in to try and revenge kill this thing. I know he's got no switches to the Dark Pulse, and Volcanion, excuse me, is definitely going to die to this, so let's just go for that and try and get some damage off on something, potentially even get the KO on the Volcanion. Brandon is currently leading, I believe. I believe it is, yeah, it's 4-5 at the moment, so it's a pretty close battle. But Hydreigon's going to keep the score back up, getting that KO with the Dark Pulse there, and that ends up finishing off the Volcano. So 4-4 right now, pretty even battle. However, he has still got the Chi-Yu and the Scizor in the back, which are massively threatening, and I'm slowly starting to run out of defensive options with my Hydreigon so low, so that is very important. Now, in comes the Mousehole. This thing is an absolute terror. I do not have any good switches to this thing anymore now that my Kingambit's dead, and I'm in trouble. If this thing starts tidying up, I'm going to be in big trouble. So I'm thinking, let's try and weaken this thing, try and go for the Dark Pulse. He goes for the Population Bomb and he misses, which is insanely lucky on my end. So I go for the Dark Pulse and get it off. That is a clean 2-hit KO on the Mousehole, which is very, very ideal. Now, I had a little bit of talk with Brandon after the battle. It turns out he was actually not wide lens, and that actually ends up mattering because he misses another Population Bomb. So I get let off the hook big time this battle, and Mousehole, despite being such a massive threat to my team, crit did not matter unfortunately, but despite Mousehole being such a massive threat to my team, it still goes down without a KO, which is crazy. So very, very lucky on my end there. Once again, Brendan, I do apologize. That is really just the game we play sometimes. So Mousehole goes down, and my Hydreigon is actually sitting not too bad here. It's still kind of weak to that Scream Tail, obviously, and it doesn't appreciate the Scizor U-turn, but at least it's racked up some leftover recovery over time, which it arguably didn't deserve, but here we are. So unfortunately, I don't have Flamethrower in this Hydreigon because it is a subset with Dark Pulse and Earth Power. So I'm thinking Hydreigon is on death's door anyway. Let's try and go for the Dark Pulse just to try and get some damage off on this thing. And he ends up going for the Terra. Now, obviously Scizor is one of his Terra captains that he brought to the battle. So I'm very intrigued to see what his Terra does. And he ends up going for Terra Fire, which is very, very interesting. Obviously makes it immune to burn. That's quite a solid stuff. I know Brendan's a big fan of Terra Fire Scizor. That's a cool one. I go for the Dark Pulse. Ends up doing solid damage. That does mean it's very offensive Scizor for sure. And he ends up going for the U-turn, and that's going to take damage. So if I actually had the read on that, I could have potentially go for an Earth Power, but at the same time, kind of risky, obviously, considering. But his Scizor is now Terra Fire, and it's going to get the hell out of there. So, and let's see, I get to see what he brings in, so I can get a safe switch into what I have. Now, the good thing here is Landorus is gone, and Scizor is now Terra Fire, which means Great Tusk now has free reign. Just collect that Headlong Rush, which is a big deal. So I'm thinking that's definitely going to be my win con here. All I need to do is just weaken this Scream Tail basically, because obviously it threatens me with that Dazzling Gleam, and if it sets up Scream Tail, I'm not going to be able to do much at all. So what I'm thinking here is, unfortunately, the mascot of the L.E.A.F agents is not going to be able to get its endgame sweep, but it is going to try and do what it needs to do for Great Tusk to win here, and I'm going to try and get it in to try and weaken the Scream Tail as much as I physically can. So I'm thinking, let's go into Iron Leaves. Obviously, I'm still picking my Mon here, but I'm thinking, let's go into Iron Leaf. Let's try and set up on this thing and sort of weaken it so the Great Tusk can come in and finish the game. Because it's looking really well at the moment. All I just need is enough damage on the Scream Tail, or potentially even the KO. So I get the boost energy, I get my Korg Drive, and as my speed gets heightened, I mean, I am now also faster than the Scream Tail. Now, unfortunately, this thing is actually obviously known for carrying Uncle, which is what I'm very, very afraid of at the moment. So I don't Terra just yet, just sort of scout to see what it's going to do, and I just end up going for a Reflect, obviously, to try and counteract my Swords Dance. However, luckily I am able to construct it. Now, I went for the Wild Charge here because I was actually fearing an Encore. I did not want to get Encored into a Swords Dance again, so I actually went for the Wild Charge just in case. I didn't want to Terra quite yet because I wanted to keep my Terra Water hidden for the Scizor and for the Chi-Yu. I thought that Surprise Factor might have been ideal there. I was thinking of what move to lock myself into. Obviously, Stab Terra Blast would have been stronger than Wild Charge, but again, I didn't know I want to get locked into a bland Terra Blast there. So I end up going for the Wild Charge, and it doesn't really do anything. So that tells me the Scream Tail is very, very defensive, and he actually ends up going for the Calm Mind. So he's got a bit of an offense support hybrid, which is pretty cool to see. However, now that I know it likely doesn't have Encore, I can actually go for another Swords Dance to try and break through this thing. So we're going for the Swords Dance again. Dazzling Gleam is going to hit me a little bit harder now, thanks to the Calm Mind, but it doesn't end up doing that much to Iron Leaf. Now this Mon, thankfully, has very, very high, or naturally high special defense. So I'm able to take that well, and now I'm just thinking, we've got to get the Snap on the Terra Blast, and we've got to get this train going to try and get rid of this Scream Tail. So I go for the Terra now, try and get the Stab on that Terra Blast going, and to try and do as much damage to this Scream Tail as possible. Now, I actually can KO Scream Tail from here, depending on its EVs, but it definitely is a roll in my opponent's face. So I go for the Terra Blast Water, Didn't think I'd see myself using this at some point, but here we are. And it actually ends up just missing the KO on the screen, which is important. Now he goes for another Dazzling Gleam. Again, Iron Lease's naturally high special defense makes me take that rather well, and I'm able to go for a second Terra Blast and finish this thing off. Now, unfortunately, despite this thing not having the highest special attacks in the world, it did weaken me to the point where Scizor could potentially weaken me with a Bullet Punch, or Chi-Yu can finish me off with whatever it wants. So Chi-Yu ends up coming in. Now I'm thinking, why is this thing coming in? Why is not Scizor not trying to Bullet Punch me? Is Brandon going to have something up his sleeve? Iron Lease is also faster than Chi-Yu, so with my speed was a minute to outspeed it and go for my Terra Blast, Water, which should take it out. But he actually ends up having Focus Sash, which is very smart, very cool from Brandon there, actually able to live the Terra Blast Water there, and he ends up going for the Psychic, and that's obviously going to take Iron Lease out from the damage that's over there. So Iron Lease still did really well this week. I'm happy with how it did. However, due to the focus rate, it was unfortunately not able to finish the job now. Now, I could have potentially won the game depending on Scizor's EV spread, if it actually killed me with the Terra Water there, because obviously I do resist Bullet Punch at that point. But alas, the focus actions here. Well played, Brandon. And I'm going to have to ask big old Great Tusk here to come in and finish the job. Now, I am Choice Scarf, so I'm going to have to try and lock myself into Headlong Rush. Both of his remaining Pokemon are weak to fire, so that is really my best choice. He ends up sacking the Chi-Yu, which is a good play to try and weaken my defenses, so I can actually try and revenge kill me with Bullet Punch. Now, obviously, thanks to the Choice Scarf, I do outspeed Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu does naturally outspeed Great Tusk. Once again, the Choice Scarf really coming in clutch there. I'm very, very glad I decided to have that on this Mon. And in comes the Scizor. Now, all Scizor can really hope to do here is to try and crit me with a Bullet Punch, because even Adamant Choice Bandit, only Adamant Choice Bandit, can kill me from here at -1, and even that is a roll. So if he's anything other than Choice Bandit, I should be able to finish off the game here. He does end up going for the Bullet Punch, and it doesn't even come close to knocking me out. So that was very clearly a more defensive investment, invested Scizor as well. I end up going for the Headlong Rush, obviously after the Terra Fire. Is going to ease the token to take him out, and he's also got Rocky Helmet, so there was no way that was ever going to kill me unless he got a big crit. And that is going to be the game. So GG Brandon, once again, you really, really played well there. Some really cool unexpected sets. The Mouse Hold especially caught me really off guard, and yeah, that arguably was a bit of a rough one, missing the population bombs there, but still really well played. GG, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Any likes, comments, and subscribes are appreciated. And I'll see you guys in week 3 when we are going to be taking on Icy Dude, head coach of the Never Dying Annihilators. So catch you all there. Bye.